So they need a handheld from sort of not taking responsibility for audio, but helping with the
I think she has one. I think she's right.
oh. Oh.
Mike. I think she has one. No. No. Oh, I guess we can. Let's just grab it. I'm gonna grab one of them. Yeah.
All right, we are live. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Mary McCarthy with the University of Minnesota's Technology Commercialization Venture Center, and this is.
I'm Raina Hale, and I am from the Mayo Clinic, the Office of Entrepreneurship. Welcome, everyone.
And happy St. Patrick's. They help us with doing market research for our startups and little events like this as well. And lastly, thank you to Laura, who's probably not in here because she's helping people in the door outside. She's smart and bright, and I don't know what I would do without her. The agenda for today, I would love to show you. Oh, there it is. Well, I'll go through this slide first. So the problems that the startup entrepreneurs are addressing today are really big, severe problems, and many of them involve pain. And they include prolonged stage 2 labor pain, breast milk pumping efficiency, NICU blood testing pain and efficiency, early screening for osteoporosis, early screening for cancer, proceduralist neck pain, lack of EHR integration, access to EHR when you're traveling, pneumothorax intervention challenges, pre-hospital dosing errors, wheelchair pressure injuries, and medical literature madness. So all of these affect the healthcare system today, and it's amazing the work that they're doing to come up with solutions. The agenda today, after this little welcome, is Neela Molgard will come down and talk a little bit about what's happening at DEED and her new role and some of her big initiatives going forward. Then we'll do the Junior Anglers Division. There will be a speaker, Russ Strati from the Venture Center. The mid-level reelers will pitch next. And then we'll have a little break. We'll have a speaker, Kaylin Oliver with the Minnesota Cup. There'll be a professionals division, another break, mostly for judging, and then the awards at 3:45. Now we'd like to introduce Neela to come up and talk a little bit about what's happening at DEED for about 10 minutes.
Thank you. Hello. Events like this are always so inspiring. All of you, it's just a perfect example of our innovation ecosystem. We have the innovators here, we have the higher ed institutions, we have the private sector, we have entrepreneurial support orgs, all working together to continue to grow our ecosystem. As Mary said, I'm Neela Molgard. I am the executive director of the new small business development area of DEED. DEED is the state agency for employment and economic development. And our focus is really to help better serve our entrepreneurs, our startups, and our small businesses, and help those organizations that also support them. So that is the scope that we are working on. We're going to try to better leverage all the strengths internally within our state agency and work then obviously in the community, so it's easier for all of your businesses to navigate the state resources. So we focus on really three key areas. The first is capital, like the priority of many of you in the room. And we do this in many ways through our state agency. One is grants. We have innovation grants. We have given out to date almost $6.5 million. Since we kicked off in the fall of 2019, we have some innovation grantees in the audience that you will be hearing pitching shortly. What I like about this innovation grant, one is it's very rare to have undiluted funding, but we're able to get them at early stages and help seed those ideas. But we've also seen that those grant dollars have made an impact. In PitchBook, when we looked at all of our past recipients, that $6.4 million that we've given out they have gone on to raise almost $80 million. And so the return on investment for every dollar that you as taxpayers have invested is $12.40. In addition, 100% of our grantees have said that this grant dollars have helped propel their business forward, which I mean, that's an amazing stat, right? And the other part is 61% of our grantees are targeted founders. So it's women, BIPOC founders, vets, founders in greater Minnesota. Now, the one part about these grants is it's in high demand. We have only been able to address about 33% of the dollars requested. The funds, 1.5 million, are supposed to last for the entire fiscal year. This year they were depleted, started in July, ended in September. So this next legislative session, we are asking for more dollars for our innovation grants so we can reach even greater numbers of entrepreneurs. We also have angel tax credits. And I know many of you have been emailing me and asking me the updates of this angel tax credit. Currently this year, our funding's depleted. Hopefully July, we will have another 10 million. And that is in the governor's proposal, 20 million for the biennium. And that's an amazing opportunity to receive 25% back on investments. It helps de-risk investments in these really important businesses. And actually 40% of our participants have come from outside of Minnesota. So it also is attractive to have others look at the innovators here in Minnesota. Another thing that I'm hopefully many of you have already heard of or participating in is our new SSBCI dollars. Our state received almost $100 million from the feds to do a variety, a whole host, about 6 or 7 different new funding vehicles, all loan programs dictated by the federal government. But we partnered here with the University of Minnesota as our state sponsored entity to do a fund of funds and direct investment. So really exciting to have this kind of capital in our state. And then we also want to work with our investor community. Investors are so critical to the success of our ecosystem. And we do this through partnerships with Mary. You know, one example is we do quarterly Minnesota venture events that are open to entrepreneurs across the state, no matter what geography, sector, stage. And then we invite investors inside and outside of Minnesota to attend. And then another great example is right what we're doing today. So very exciting. But in addition to capital, which is what most people think about government, right? You go to government to get money. At least that's what most of my calls are about. I think we offer more. I think we offer, and we need to offer that connectivity and that capacity, because we know a connected and coordinated ecosystem increases the rate and the success of new business formation. So we also work very hard to do that. And that is also done with our partners like the University of Minnesota. So we also know it's never one person or one organization that helps with the entrepreneurial journey. We ask and survey our startups, almost 300 of them now, what they've tapped into that's helped in their entrepreneurial journey. And it's a whole long list of individuals and organizations that they were able to connect with to help them as what they needed at that same, as their journey continued to progress. But I'm really proud about a couple of our initiatives that we've done on this level, and that is with leveraging some of the incredible resources here within the University of Minnesota. We have partnered in multiple ways. Obviously, MinCup, we've been able to partner with venture builders with some incredible education that was only available to faculty and students and now is available to entrepreneurs across the state at no cost. We've been able to partner with Discovery Launchpad and Mary and her team to take our innovation grantees and give them that really curated expertise by their consultants to help with their commercialization. And we're working with this scale up program with Mark Sanders to help our later stage startups as they have that next level of pain points in their journey. But we've also worked with our Launch Minnesota network. We've created a network across the state, a hub and spoke model to help with that startup journey. Now, one thing that we're doing though with this network, we feel it's very important to leverage the strengths of various organizations and help our entrepreneurs better navigate the resources. But another thing that we still see as a gap is the commercialization efforts. We have incredible efforts here at the University of Minnesota and at Mayo Clinic. But for our state to continue to be competitive, we are asking for more legislative dollars to infuse in more efforts for this commercialization efforts amongst our public and private universities. And so in that, I just want to let the entrepreneurs know that are here today that you are surrounded by people and organizations and investors that want to see you succeed, and that working together, we will make Minnesota the best place to start and scale new ventures. So excited to hear your pitches, and thank you to Mayo and the University of Minnesota for putting this together. Take care.
Okay, lovely, thanks. The startups will be competing in 3 divisions: the junior anglers, the mid-level reelers, and the professionals. The junior division is for more entry-level startups that may or may not be incorporated. Most definitely doesn't have any sales yet, but they may have completed a minimum viable product. The junior anglers probably have a minimum viable product, and they're a little more advanced. The professionals are even further advanced as they might describe, and that they probably have raised some money. They have a minimum viable product and they may be generating sales already. So we have a esteemed panel of judges, which we call walleyes, here with us today. And I'd like to invite each one of the 9 of them to just quickly introduce yourself. Where are you from? And any other comments you want to make. You can use one of the microphones that are right up there.
Hi, I'm Chuck Dennis. Used to be Vice President of Business Development for the pacemaker and defibrillator business at Medtronic, which means I was dealing with the mergers and acquisitions, investments, partnering, all the type of, so I'd be the end buyer for a lot of these companies. Retired from there in 2017. Since then have been working as an executive in residence in the University of Minnesota Discovery Launchpad. And I also am co-founder of 2 startups that are moving along.
Hi, I'm Daryl Gohl. I lead a research group here at the University of Minnesota and the University of Minnesota Genomics Center. And I'm also the founder of 2 University of Minnesota spinouts. So one of them is Core Biome, which actually pitched in and won the very first Walleye Tank pitch competition, I think back in 2016. And then a new company that we're just getting started called Objective Biotechnologies. So it's I'm excited to be back and excited to hear all the great pitches today.
Hi, my name is Nathan Wiedemann. I'm the new director of the Office of Entrepreneurship at Mayo Clinic. Excited to be here. And I've been with Mayo for about 5 years, most of that with the Office of Translation and Practice, which I still direct along with the Office of Entrepreneurship. Thanks.
Monique Maddox. I am a consultant here locally in IT consulting. I run a small business, Macrame Technologies, and we focus on software delivery as well as data security. I also am active in the angel investment community directly, as well as through several local firms.
I'm Katie Len. I'm a licensing manager with Mayo Clinic Ventures. That is Mayo's technology transfer office. And I've been with Mayo Ventures about 4 years.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jackie Mejia. I'm a managing director at Generator, which is a venture capital firm. We invest in early stage startups across a variety of industries. I've specifically focused on working with startups in the healthcare sector in the past, and then currently work with fintech and insurtech companies as well. So if you would want to participate in an accelerator and receive investment from our firm, please feel free to reach out to me. I would love to talk to you.
Hi, my name is Diane Rucker. I'm a consultant and angel investor. Until recently, I was the executive director at University Enterprise Labs. So I have a strong and deep knowledge of life science, biotech, life science companies, especially in the startup space. I'm excited to work with startups on strategy and technology growth, looking at product market fit. And my goal for being here today is just to be an active part of the startup ecosystem to help and support these amazing companies however we can. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Steve Sigmund. I am founder of Engage Venture Partners, and prior to that was on the entrepreneurship side myself as one of the founders of a company called Carrot Health here in Minnesota. At Engage, we're specialists in early stage med tech. We are investing in a really different model that brings together what we think is the best of the traditional venture capital model and the flexibility of the angel investor model. So if anyone's interested in hearing more about that, find me during the happy hour. Really excited to hear pitches from all these great entrepreneurs and find ways that we can all support them in their journey.
And lastly, my name is Elena Mendez Suarez. I'm the director of clinical products at OneOme, which is a precision medicine company, early stage company here in the cities. As a director of clinical products, I'm responsible for pretty much everything related to product, from strategic analysis to roadmap definition, to all the way down to the colors of the fonts of the writing in the reports, right? So I do enjoy doing that. I like to find solutions to problems that are out there. And that's why we create good products to fit the needs of the clinic in this particular context.
Thank you to all the judges. Look forward to hearing your deliberations later. So you might be wondering, how do these judges judge who wins? Well, I'm going to show you the matrix. So this just happens to be the criteria sheet for Birth Ease, which is the first company that will be pitching today. And the thing that they'll be looking for include was the problem, solution, the why you, the why now, and the business delivered in a way that seems urgent and was clearly stated, convincing and well delivered. The judges will deliberate in a room nearby after their divisions finish pitching to discuss each pitch and identify the winners and the runners up. You can see the lovely trophies, limited edition. No one will ever receive a trophy like this ever again. So you can proudly display it to all of your friends and family and in the back of your Zoom calls. At about 3:45, we'll announce the winners towards the end of the day and be done at 4. And then at 4:30, we'll have a reception outside with drinks and food and fun and all of us. And there will be many more people, I think, according to the registrations, joining us then for that reception, because our office's business advisory group has all been invited, and there's about 470 of those. So without further ado, let's get the pitch part started. Oh, one more thing. Besides the OLI, the junior anglers win $4,000. The mid-level reelers win $6,000, and the professional division winner wins $10,000 plus an entry into the quarterfinals of Minnesota Cup, which is quite valuable in its own right. So good luck. Plus, of course, they all get experience, connections, and bragging rights forever. So the junior anglers, first up is Ease Birth, and this is Mira Doshi. Come on down.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Mira Doshi, and I'm the founder of Ease Birth. So whenever you think of childbirth, what is the first image that comes to your mind? Women suffering from immense pain. Unfortunately, that's true for more than 50% of women delivering babies. So prolonged labor is not only causing the pain, but it can also lead to severe outcomes, and it introduces health risks to woman and child. And it can lead to increased hospital stay as well as NICU admission rate. It can also lead to cesarean section delivery. And it has its own set of surgical risk. So that was the problem. And what is the solution for this problem? The labor assistive device. The labor assistive device is still in the early development stage, and it is not protected by IP yet. Labor assistive device is a handheld device to apply fundal pressure during the second stage labor in the direction of the pelvic outlet. This will ultimately reduce the second stage labor duration, and it would speed up the delivery process. The main thing that I want to emphasize here, it is the control and safe range pressure this device would be able to provide. Competitive landscape. So current solutions that's been out there, the most common type is the procedure-based solution. So for the vaginal birth, spatula or the forceps are used, and the vacuum extraction method is used, as well as cesarean section is also the option. And device-based solution is the inflatable belt, and it's not marketed yet. And the clinical trial has showed a lot of limitations using this device. Non-device solution is applying manual fundal pressure. It is commonly used in the practice, but it is not recommended by the FDA guidelines. So the current market size of the OBGYN industry is $22 billion and is expected to rise by 10% in 2028. The target market for this device will be all the hospitals that offer maternity services. And I believe this device has the potential to serve value for everyone included, including mother and infants, by reducing the risk of adverse outcomes. It also reduces the hospital stay and NICU admission rate. And it is also useful for the insurance companies because cesarean section birth generally costs 56% extra than normal vaginal birth. So it's still in the early development stage, and we all know about this problem, and let's join me and let's solve this problem. Thanks.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Judges, you have 2 minutes for questions.
Hi.
Hi.
Okay, so you showed us what the competition is. Can you tell us why your device is better than the alternatives that are out there?
Absolutely. So the current product that is out there is inflation belt. It's not commercially marketed, but it is vastly used in the developing countries. It is in the clinical trial, it has shown that it does reduce the second set labor duration, but it is really uncomfortable for the end user. And it is also require additional person in the room to adjust the pressure for this inflatable belt. As you can see, it has 3 different chambers and it requires different pressures. All these 3 chambers requires different pressures. So it is really hard to manage this pressure. And the person, whoever is on the control system, needs to know that what pressure is appropriate. It does not have continuous monitoring system either. So the device that I'm working on will have the continuous ultrasound monitoring inbuilt in.
Can you tell us about your background and why you're the person to build this company?
So I am a biomedical engineer, and I have been in the medical device industry from last 13 years. I work with renowned companies and I work in different divisions in R&D, process development, in manufacturing. So I have accumulated this knowledge, but the only reason that I'm motivated to solve this problem because my sister has suffered for the postpartum complications, and it's supposed to be the best time in her life and for my family because it was the first kid of my mom that was delivering a baby, and my mom and I and everyone in the family were super worried, and they were just under fear for 3 days. And when I saw the bed filled with her blood, I decided that I want to go in the biomedical engineering line and solve this problem.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right. Jad is up next.
Just this button. So good afternoon, everybody. My name is Caleb Kumar. I'm the founder and CEO of Jade. I'm a lifelong Minnesotan, a Breck graduate, and I completed my bachelor's at Stanford University and my master's at the Stanford University School of Medicine. So in the aftermath of the pandemic, it is really crucial for travelers to have easy access to their healthcare information. But currently, comprehensive mobile health record applications for travelers do not exist. Therefore, I built a comprehensive mobile health record application for travelers that is user-friendly, interoperable, globally accessible, and also free. So you can see screenshots from the app on the left and on the right there. So right now we have completed our minimal viable product, and it's actually on the App Store. We've also completed beta testing, and our app actually allows users to both record and present their health information to health professionals wherever they might be traveling. So the global digital health market is expected to explode to over $650 billion by 2025. And Jade is really well positioned to become part of this growth. With our user-friendly and compliant health documentation software, we are perfectly fitted to the needs of the busy on-the-go traveler, a growing demographic that is fueled by a burgeoning middle class in developing countries with disposable income. So we've currently secured a partnership with a nutrition and health company, AIM Health, and we are actually communicating with a major airline to create another partnership. So you might be wondering about what the competitive landscape looks like. Well, Jade is actually uniquely positioned with our heavy focus on travel and also healthcare documentation that is comprehensive. So currently, this is our timeline of where we've been, and I'm the only person working on the project right now, even though I've worked with healthcare legal experts. There's no one officially on the team right now. That's it. Thank you.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Stay here for just a minute. Just while he's answering questions, Mick Decibel, can you come up and get your mic set? Wonderful. Judges, you have 2 minutes.
There we go. Hey, Caleb, can you walk me through, I'm on a plane, I'm landing in a foreign country, I fire up the app. What do I do? Walk me through the user experience.
So all your information will be saved from comments, medications, medical history, blood work, pretty much anything you can imagine. It's very comprehensive, and you might land. Let's say you have some kind of medical issue. You can reveal this kind of information. We've spoken to other stakeholders in the industry, and people were just having their medications on like notepads or very simple things, and this was a huge burden.
Okay, so I put my blood pressure in the app, and then who do I show that to? Does that synchronize back with my records back in the US, or how does that work?
That's a great question. So this is typically for global travelers. So we've done a lot of stakeholder interviews in India and Brazil, and that's kind of where the idea stemmed from. And so this would be something that maybe you fly to Germany and you get there and you say, okay, these are the medications I'm on. These are maybe some previous medical issues I've had. It really helps the physician at your location make a better diagnosis. And that's why I firmly believe that an app like this can improve the personalized medical care at your destination.
Is this all self-entered? Do you self-enter your own health data, or is it interoperable or integratable with any other healthcare systems?
Yeah,
and
so
if so, are there any concerns with privacy or with HIPAA?
Yeah, so there's kind of 2 questions. I'll address the first part. So definitely that's something I've heard a lot about. Self-inputting is part of the process. Like, it's very difficult to get a partnership with one of the big 3. So Epic, Cerner, and Meditech control 76% of the market right now for EHR, and obviously they don't really want to be interoperable with a competitor. But I think it's something that has become part of the travel process. So just like you pack your luggage, you also make sure your medications and your major medical events are in. And so the second thing I'll comment about is the healthcare legality. So I've carefully gone through HIPAA, and if you download the app, you will see that when you make an account, there's a terms and conditions, and that really thoroughly goes through what we can do with the data. And that kind of actually leads toward our business model, if I can talk about that a little bit.
We're going to have to end there. Your 2 minutes are up from questions. Thank you so much for Jade.
Thank you.
All right. Welcome. While he is pitching, can we have Mommy's Solutions get ready and on deck? Get this back to where you need to be. It's all yours.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Atik Pati. I'm an MD clinical researcher in Department of Neurosurgery at Mayo Clinic. So today here with the Med-Decibel, I'm here to point out root problem, root cause, where we all access the medical knowledge. Mary, when she presented her agenda, the pain problem, our problem was at the very bottom because we are the root cause. If we don't have the accessibility of the medical knowledge, reproducibility of the medical knowledge, our industry is not growing because healthcare is a knowledge-driven industry and research is the cornerstone of that. So what's the problem that why are we not able to access the medical literature in like automated way? In the healthcare, the literature is growing at a very fast pace, and we are facing a challenge due to our busy schedule as a clinicians, as a researchers, as a healthcare professionals, not able to stay up to date with the medical advancement, which is in the medical literature. because we are juggling with the demands of the daily work schedule and daily work routine. So that's the biggest challenge, which is causing and also hindering the innovation in the healthcare industry and also bringing high impact clinical studies. So there was another thing what we learned from the COVID-19, that we need more doctors who are scientists, not only doctors. MedDecibel aims to provide a solution, which is a three-pronged solution, which will be available in the format of a web platform, an application that will be available on iOS and also Android, and a tool-based platform which will be able to integrate in the EMRs and healthcare platform. So it's an Audium, which is a peer-to-peer literature platform where you can listen the audio literature in the audio format, and also you can create the audio literature. The second is the Fidium, which is the AI-based clinical decision tool, which will be recommending the doctors and also healthcare professionals to provide a better care plan for their patients based on the patient symptomatology. MedDecibel is bringing the Spotify, Audible, and scientific discussion or theater of the healthcare industry. There's a market size, is overall healthcare industry, and mainly we are focusing on the medical publishing industry. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, please go ahead.
Can you go back a few slides to the 3 different products you had? So from your perspective as a provider, which one would you prioritize as the most important one that should be your immediate focus?
At the moment, it's the P2P audio literature platform, because our tool and even algorithm is well defined at the moment. So we can produce the audio literature on massive scale. The biggest challenge we are facing is the licensing by the publishers, because whenever they publish an article, they are taking the copyrights of that. So we are just proceeding with the open access articles, which can be commercially used. So Audium will be the first, and then second will be going towards a connection. And then third will be AI-based tool clinical decision system.
Okay, thank you.
For the audio literature, do you have any evidence that that is specifically the type of solution that researchers are looking for? Is it that they're lacking audio content because that's quicker, more efficient? Like what's some of the evidence behind?
I don't have the evidence, but I have a validation of the concept, what we are talking. So here I could have shared my slide with you guys. You could have read at home, but you wanted to listen to me. Because I'm the person who can summarize it better, what I'm talking about. And we humans listen more than we read on a daily, like day-to-day routine. So that's the validation of what we believe, that in the healthcare industry, medical literature has to be in the audio format.
What is your business model? What's your revenue model? How do you make money with this?
So our business model is also divided based on our 3-tier solution. It's with the individual subscription, group subscription for the academia, healthcare institutes, and we are also getting the revenue in the form of the ads of the industry, healthcare industry. Yeah.
All right, sorry, we're gonna cut that off. It's 2 minutes. Thank you so much.
Very much.
All right, Serge is on deck. You can get mic'd up. Thank you very much. And mommies, welcome over to. We'll get there. Here you go. This is you. Welcome, Ashley.
All right. Hi, my name is Ashley, and I'm a PhD trained biomedical scientist who's helped entrepreneurs secure over 20 million in non-dilutive funding as president of a grant writing company. After becoming a new mom in 2021 and struggling to pump enough breast milk, I founded Mommy's Solutions. My struggle is far from unique. Over 1,200 women responded to our customer discovery survey in less than 24 hours to nearly universally report problems. It's clear from this response that women are eager for a solution that can help them comfortably pump more milk in less time. So why are pumps failing women? Pumps singularly use suction power, which often only pulls the milk closest to the nipple. Whereas babies are not only using suction, but also the warmth of their mouths and the pressure of their jaw and hands against the breast to completely empty it from the base. Studies show that when you manually add warmth or massage back in, women see a dramatic increase in milk output And although exciting, the manual methods used are impractical to apply. And shockingly, no competitive product offers both, representing a huge missed opportunity. Mommy Solutions is meeting this unmet need by developing the first ever hands-free pumping bra with built-in pockets near the base of the breast that fill with heated water to apply warmth and pressure during pumping and improve performance. We do hold a provisional patent for this technology. There's a large and growing market space for maternity bras, and women founders are uniquely suited to disrupt this space due to our intimate understanding of consumer needs. We intend to target initial sales to US breast pump users with a healthy sum of over 250 million. We anticipate Class 1 FDA device designation, which leads to a low barrier to market entry. We've raised pre-seed funds to do MVP prototyping this summer, and we will open a seed raise this year to complete product development and commercialize. Our team is strong and multidisciplinary. If you would like to help us reach market by either investment or introductions, I invite you to connect with me. My contact information is posted here, and I'm happy to take questions. Thank you.
At exactly 2 minutes.
Thank you.
Excellent job.
What's your go-to-market strategy? Are you going to direct to consumer first or through providers?
Yeah, great question. We actually have several established sales pathways of interest. One, the most obvious would be direct to consumer online sales. So we do have a website up and operating where people have already reached out with interest in purchasing a prototype. We just need to build it. But we also have professional interest from lactation consultants at doula practices and NICU units who might want to purchase. And we just recently won a pitch competition from Hy-Vee, who has expressed interest in being a retailer for the product in the future.
How far along are you on product development? And do you have any early data before you have the MVP as to how much better the product performs compared to alternatives?
Yeah, so far I would say that we've done garage prototyping, but now with the pitch money and the Launch Minnesota grant, we can pursue real MVP prototyping this summer and get users in for early product feedback. But there are scientific studies available that just used manual methods of a warm compress application or hand massage. And those individually are dramatically increasing milk output. So I'm really confident that if we combine the two methodologies, we might see some synergy there, or we at least can provide this to mothers.
Which partnerships do you think are going to be the most valuable as you look to not only create the MVP, but to pilot it in test operations?
Sorry, I missed the beginning of that.
Which partnerships will be the most valuable as you create the MVP and do a prototype pilot?
Yeah, so we do have a chief technology officer who's leading the prototype development. So we've got the engineering expertise on the team. And then we're also partnering with this local Kablooey design engineering firm as we approach more advanced product development. And they have experience with breast pump engineering, as well as inroads to manufacturing and distribution through their parent company, who specializes in textiles. So that's a really important relationship.
All right. Thank you so much.
All right.
All right. Welcome, Serge, Jacob, and Nikki.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity. We're excited to introduce Sarge. We're helping surgeons take better care of patients by taking better care of themselves. I'm Manik. I'm a physician endoscopist at Mayo Clinic.
And I'm Jacob. I'm a physician artificial intelligence scientist.
Think about your neck bent for 30 seconds. How about an hour? Starts to get painful, right? How about 100,000 hours? Yes, that's right. That's long how our necks are in a flexed, painful position over our careers. Work-related neck injuries are the leading cause of reduction in physician services and early retirement among surgeons. This is costing us and our patients billions of dollars, and we are here to fix that.
Sarge was built from the ground up by physicians and for physicians to keep our necks in line and to enhance surgical ergonomics. Sarge is built on powerful AI. It tracks the neck and the back positions over time, and it intervenes on your posture with both real-time notification and long-term behavior modification. It integrates seamlessly into the surgical environment. Now, Sarge has been improving. It has had numerous iterations thus far, each with improvements and upgrades. On its current form, the version 3, it is ready to be in the hands of surgeons and be used for clinical studies. And Sarge has numerous advantages over the competition. Sarge was designed to be comfortable to wear, to integrate seamlessly and without any difficulty with complex surgical movements that are often found in the OR. And it's designed around the procedural space to be a natural fit in the surgical workflow.
The current market for Sarge is more than 100,000 proceduralists across the US, and our beachhead market is going to be GI endoscopists, each of whom performs more than 50,000 procedures across their careers. Even at 10% market penetration over 5 years, we're looking at more than $10 million in annual revenue, with the future of nurses, techs, and everybody in the healthcare field. Our team of physicians is directly affected by this problem, and we have technical expertise in biomechanics and artificial intelligence. We also have strong institutional support to conduct real-world clinical studies for rapid commercialization of Sarge. We thank you, and we are empowering surgeons for an injury-free future.
So there is a sequence of effect as the hours pass. Do you think that this is a device that would be a device to prevent long-term injury, something that could help correct any issues that may arise later on? So where in that career stage in the surgeon do you see them needing this? And the second question I have is, who's going to pay for this? Would it be the hospitals? Would this be a physical therapy kind of thing? So can you talk a little bit about that?
Two great questions. So the first time an injury happens in surgeon is the time that damage has already been done. So this device incorporates active feedback at the time you start performing the procedure and long-term behavior modification throughout the surgeon's career. And so it addresses both the problems. It fixes the problem at the root, which is bad posture and bad habits that develop. The second question, who's going to pay for it? And we're going to have a B2B and a B2B2C model. Our goal is that institutions and divisions who invest in their workforce, we are very highly trained workforce. It's hard to make surgeons in a year or 2 years. It takes decades to make a good surgeon. So we are hoping for B2B2C kind of a model where divisions buy our product ultimately by word of mouth, and then it can expand to a lot of other people.
What class medical device will this be, or is it unregulated?
This would not require any regulatory approval and could go directly into the back of surgeons. Yeah, so the model is B2B2C. So our goal is that individual surgeons can buy the device and the app that comes with it, but our ultimate business side is through the big divisions. We have a division of more than 1,000 surgeons at Mayo Clinic, each of whom the divisions can buy the product for them alongside the app that comes with it. Similarly, that it can expand to every other hospital in the country and all over the world.
There's quite a bit of interest right now in order to prevent people from having to retire because of occupational injuries. And so there's a lot of push and money involved in trying to bolster a physician's career and their healthcare during that time. And so this is something that the department could take on themselves to save themselves money in the long run by preventing these injuries from occurring.
It's just a simple,
We're out of time.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
I'm pleased to introduce my manager at the University of Minnesota, Russ Strati, who will tell you all about what's happening in our office.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. And first of all, thank you for joining us here today. Really appreciate you taking the time to come and participate in this event. As Marion was communicated, there's a number of events that happen as part of what the Venture Center and the work we do, and we do appreciate your participation in that. Just a little bit about the Venture Center, and I know there's a lot of familiar faces here, so many of you know what we do and what we're about. But back in 2006, the University of Minnesota, with some help from people outside, decided it was time to create an organization to help facilitate the launch of startups out of the University of Minnesota. And in that time, the Venture Center was pulled together and put together. I joined in 2008, and since that time, we've progressed quite nicely. We just finished launching our 228th startup out of the university since that time. And we're now on a pace to launch between 20 and 25 startups each year out of the University of Minnesota. So we have a lot of really great stuff going on, about 32 right now, I think, Chris, about 32 in our pipeline.
that have the potential to be future University of Minnesota startups. As a team, we're captive to University of Minnesota startups, but we are also sensitive to the ecosystem and the importance of that as part of our role. And the ecosystems help in what we do. So we do work with NELA and the Launch Minnesota initiative to with our incubator Discovery Launchpad, helping that connect to the community and provide support for non-university startups. And of course, we work with the Home Center and the entrepreneur program here in educating local startups as well. So I appreciate you again, you joining us here today. Look forward to seeing you at the reception later today. We hope you stick around and join us and celebrate a little bit of time with us on St. Patrick's Day. So nice to meet you all. Thank you.
All right, well, thank you. That concludes the junior division. And so congratulations to all the junior teams. We are going to move on to the mid-level reelers. All right, here we go. So Osteo app, you are up. Go ahead and get mic'd up. Perfect. Would you like this mic? I can just pass it off to you. There you go. Timer will start when you.
All right, hello, my name is Chris Taylor. I'm CEO of osteoapp.ai. And the picture you see up there is my mother. 2019 fell, had a fragility fracture on her wrist. This spring fell again, had another fragility fracture. In both cases, she was not screened for osteoporosis at this point in time. We still don't know how severe or what the issue really is. So what's the problem? DEXA is the problem. Inconvenient, expensive, hard to access. Less than 70% of women over the age of 55 who have a fragility fracture are ever screened for osteoporosis. Difficult to get to, highly technical to use. What's the solution? We've developed an AI algorithm that can read a standard X-ray. What does this mean? When you go in for an orthopedic visit, the first thing they do, go across the hallway, get my own images. We can read that image, develop a BMD report, just like a DEXA machine can do. Do that in less than 30 seconds. It's back into the orthopedic surgeon's hands before they're even back in the exam room with the patient. How are we doing this? So we partnered with a Mayo platform. They are delivering the data sets. And we are in the process right now of developing an AI algorithm with DEXA level accuracy to be able to read these X-rays. Right now, we are in our data prep and AI model development phase. We're looking for a 510K submission sometime around October with full commercial launch in Q1 of 2024. How do we get paid for this? We filed for and received as of the first of this year CPT codes, and we're looking at about a $40 per report and interpretation reimbursement around that. It's about a $1.5 billion treatment market, and we have a revenue opportunity of around $243 million. How do we win? A lot of this is focused on radiology and FTE improvement and workflow efficiency. That's where AI lives right now. We're focused on clinical utility and clinical outcomes and value of care. So right now we're looking for contacts and orthopedic surgeon groups interested in pilots and helping us coordinate utilization around the product. And lastly, we're looking for funding to finish out of all of our development and also finance the pilots with those sites. Our leadership team has over 30 years of experience in this area. And thank you very much.
So my question is, would this be a standalone app or would this be integrated into whatever systems the health system already has?
Yeah, software sits behind the firewall on the PACS system and reads the image that comes right into the PACS system. It's a passive read. The orthopedic surgeon, the doctor or attending physician, there's no special checkbox. There's nothing in the EHR that they have to do differently. It reads it passively behind the scenes. Then it turns it into what we call a DICOM image, which is essentially the same standard as the X-ray, and moves it along right into the attending physician's inbox.
So the data doesn't necessarily have to even leave the workflow. It would just be
Correct.
intercepted.
Absolutely. Yeah, we read the data that comes right off the PACS system, do the DICOM image, goes right on its way.
Is the current competition that you're looking at the existing bone density screens or the lack of availability to those? Can you state the competition a little bit more clearly?
Yeah, great question. So two things. One is different modality. So a lot of focus on like MRI and CT technology, not X-ray technology. So a lot of focus on like lower lumbar spinal region. And so they're doing a lot of reads within that region. So VCF technology has been around for about 4 or 5 years. Lower volume, not as prevalent. What we need to do is start moving upstream from that point at the point of care. And you're going to see a much higher prevalence in volume related X-rays, hand, wrist, shoulder, knee, major joint, that sort of thing.
I guess how accurate is this? In terms of the data output.
Yeah, so some of the commensurate studies that we're comparing ourselves are within, a standard deviation of the DEXA results. Now, a lot of that is still focusing on lower lumbar region, but at this point in time, we have high confidence in working with Mayo platform that we're going to be able to achieve similar outcomes. Right.
Thank you. Great. Numeric, and then SeerSense is on deck. So if SeerSense can come and put their mics on, that would be helpful.
Good afternoon. I'm John Aho from Numeric, and we're improving care in pneumothorax. So a collapsed lung can occur anytime you have injury to the lung. It can leak air into the chest in between the lung and the chest wall, and it can progress to the point where it's choking you essentially from the inside of your chest. Ever seen a medical drama, MASH, ER, and they stab a needle very dramatically into the chest of a patient to save their life? That's what we're addressing with here. That's a major cause of preventable trauma mortalities. So like I said, what we do today is the same thing that we do on the TV shows. We stab a needle into the chest, we let the air out. The way we know it worked is we hear a gush of air. We're doing this in an ambulance, a helicopter, a battlefield. That's loud. We can't hear a gush of air. It's expensive to have these mistakes happen. Patients die. We want to make it so that the air can be seen. We need a visual indicator. There's air in there's CO2 within that air. That changes the pH of the air. We can use that detector. It's already used every day for how we put breathing tubes into patients. Lightweight, portable, easy to use, familiar to providers. And we've already shown that it's better than the standard of care in both animal and human studies. The market's large. Every ambulance, helicopter, emergency room, battlefield soldiers kit, they can use this. There's 2 issued US utility patents. There's an additional provisional patent that we have in Numeric's name, and then there's a PCT, which covers all PCT participating countries that broadly excludes others from testing gas coming out of the chest. The competition is preponderantly large capital pieces of equipment or equipment that requires significant clinical expertise to be able to use. Over the past year and a half, we've done the initial contract manufacturing. We've built out the contract scale manufacturing capacity. We've established initial distributor relationships with sales minimums, and we submitted a 510K, and we should be hearing back in the next 30 days. The team is made up of experienced innovators and life science professionals, and we're raising via convertible note on the following terms. We have $200,000 left in this round to fund the regulatory and manufacturing efforts. If it would go faster, that'd be great. I'm done.
So
Thank you.
You gave us an example. Does this go on the catheter?
Yeah, it goes on the end of the angio catheter. You can bolt it onto any of the catheters that they're using, whether they be military, civilian, whatever they're using in their particular ambulance or environment. It's standard Luer lock fitting. It bolts onto all of them. They use that type of fitting every day.
So if I blow on this, will this change color because of CO2 in my?
Yes.
I'm not going to do that.
So how often does this happen? And from the cases that tend to happen, how often does it happen in a loud environment where you need a visual?
So I'll answer the second question first. So it's an emergent thing that you need to deal with immediately on the order of a few minutes. It's always in a loud environment, accident scene, battlefield, ambulance, helicopter. It happens estimated to be about 5% of all major traumas. So it's a very common thing to have happen after any major trauma. It's even higher in penetrating injury.
You mentioned that you'd raised 1.3 of the 1.5 million. Where do you expect to enter the market? And what do you expect are the key challenges in the next year?
Yeah, so we actually expect to enter the market into the next 2 months. We have distributor arrangements that are being inked right now with sales minimums. So we're building out the initial shelf stock actually next week. So that shelf stock's already spoken for with those distributor agreements. Once the FDA clearance comes through, we're allowed to ship that. Thank you.
All right, last but not least in the mid-level reelers, Alan with SearSense.
Hello, my name is Alan Gonzalez Suarez. I'm with SearSense, and I will present to you a new analyzer, a system for neonatal biomarker analysis from a single droplet of blood. Have you ever thought about neonates' health? Every year, more than 500,000 babies are sent to the NICU in the US just because they were born as premature or they have an illness. The common way to monitor their health is by testing for different biomarkers in blood, where each test requires to take up to 1% of blood from the neonate and has a turnaround time of in the order of hours. Critically ill or preterm neonates have to be tested several times a day, leading to a loss of up to 50% of the blood just because of testing. This takes neonatologists to under-test to avoid these issues. Our proposed solution is a completely automated microfluidic-based point-of-care system that will be able to monitor up to 3 different biomarkers from a single droplet of blood in as fast as 30 minutes. This system will be based on microfluidic tools like the one that I'm presenting here, and will allow neonatologists to do a fast and reliable diagnosis of the neonatal health without losing blood. The biomarkers that we will be testing will be CRP for infections, glucose for hypoglycemia, and bilirubin for jaundice, which have a high incidence in the NICU, but also should be tested in all newborns as the standard of care when they are born. Our system is based on 3 different patent applications that we've submitted, 2 of them last year, 1 of them 2 years ago, that are based in research that has a backup of research articles that are based in that are backed up by science in different research articles. Our system is based on the application of the neoanalyzer in the NICU and the consulting room, and with 4 million births per year in the US, the neonatal biomarker market had a value of $1.1 billion in the US in 2020, and it's expected to double in 2027. We believe that with the partnerships and our proximity to physicians, we can capture 5% of this market, and then once our technology is mature, jump to a global market that is wider. Our team in SearSense is built with a team of entrepreneurs, chemical engineers, and biomedical engineers with expertise in assay development, microfluidics, and automation. And we believe that with our passion and our technology, we can improve the neonatal healthcare in the near future. Thank you.
So quick question, you're targeting the neonatal care point, so premature infants. What is the opportunity outside of that? Have you also looked at the newborn full-term care, or is it
Yes.
higher market neonatal side?
So this will be like the first market that we're trying to address, but this technology, the assays that we're using is immunoassays and also enzymatic assay that could be used for any other biomarkers in blood. So yes, we're actually attacking this market because of the need for neonatologists. This started with a talk with the neonatologists from Mayo Clinic. So this is why we started with that, but we're not limited to it.
You mentioned that these babies we have to get multiple blood samples from them. How much less blood would you have to get from them if they were to incorporate this?
So yes, so usually it's like one milliliter of blood, and we only require 10 microliters. So we are like 100-fold reduction of blood needed for 3 biomarkers, not 1.
Knowing where you are in the prototype development, do you have a sense as to how sensitive and specific your detection capability is compared to drawing all that blood that we'd rather not draw?
Yeah, actually these tests are done in the lab because that's where you have the higher sensitivity. So right now our system is based on gold nanoparticles and electrochemistry, and we have a sensitivity of down to 5 picograms per milliliter, which is more than enough to test for these biomarkers.
So how many biomarkers do you typically test for in a NICU, and versus you say you have 3 biomarkers right now?
Yes, it depends. So depending on the issue the health issue that the baby has, it will be tested for different biomarkers. We are trying to do these 3 because they are the most common ones tested in the NICU. And also when a baby is born, they have to be tested for these biomarkers before leaving the hospital.
All right, thank you. All right. Well done to all the mid-level reelers. So I'm going to share a little bit about the Office of Entrepreneurship and what we do at Mayo Clinic. And we are an internal facing educational training arm for research scientists, clinicians of all sorts inside of the walls of Mayo Clinic. We have many, many entrepreneurs, innovators at Mayo Clinic, and we are an office that provides training on the lean startup methodology. So many of you have heard of MinCore or the Discovery Launchpad, but that is kind of what we're doing, but inside the walls of Mayo Clinic. So we are providing this service to those who work across the enterprise. We have our site or our office is on the Rochester site, but also on the Florida, Arizona, and now the Eau Claire Hospital. So the Office of Entrepreneurship is happy to be here, happy to help sponsor and cover some of the prize money and support the ecosystem here in Minnesota as we grow. With that, I would like to take a quick break and let everyone get up, stretch. I will take the judges of the junior and mid-level divisions to go deliberate, and Mary will end the break in a little while and bring everyone back for the professional division. Thank you.
I am honored to introduce the new director of Minnesota Cup and thrilled to give her the stage to tell us everything that's happening with Minnesota Cup, and applications just opened.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being here today. This is my first Walleye Tank, so I'm very excited. My name is Kaylin Oliver, and I'm the Associate Director of Minnesota Cup. MinCup is actually based right here in the Carlson School. We're just upstairs at the Home Center for Entrepreneurship, and while we are based at the university, our programming reaches entrepreneurs from across the state. MinCup is the largest statewide startup competition in the nation. Since our founding in 2005, we've given away more than $5 million in seed funding to founders. We've served more than 20,000 entrepreneurs, and our top founders have gone on to raise more than $1 billion in capital. But I'm here to tell you today that MinCup is about a lot more than just a chance to win up to $400,000 in seed funding. Our completely free programming looks to identify, support, and connect emerging entrepreneurs from across Minnesota. We offer education sessions, mentorship, publicity, networking opportunities, and all of our programming has one goal. That is to provide you and your company with the access to resources and connections you need to scale and move forward. Our 2023 season has begun. We opened applications this past Monday and we'll be accepting them through April 14th at midnight. The only criteria to apply is that you're a Minnesota-based company and you're making less than $1 million in revenue. Very easy. And we take a very wide range of stages of company. You can have something that's just literally been written on a napkin as an idea, or you can be a company that's making profits, fully staffed, etc. We look forward to seeing your ideas. If you have any questions at all, feel free to ask me. You can apply now and learn more at mincup.org. And I look forward to seeing some of your applications in the next few weeks. Thank you all for being here, and best of luck to our next round of pitches. Thank you.
All right, on to the professional division. There are 4 companies competing in this division, and the first is Adapt Design Works with Rob Woodlick.
Well, hi, I'm Rob Woodlick. I'm CEO of Adapt Design Works, and we're developing the Sense Tech system. This system is an AI-powered system to monitor and reduce the risk of pressure injuries for wheelchair users. Pressure injuries or sores are no joke. Oh, is there a keyboard? All right. Yeah, we can go to the next slide. All right, so they're no joke, the pressure injuries. So, you know, they put people on bed rest. They don't go away. Once you get one, they don't go away. And it's even what killed Christopher Reeve, Superman. So we're not only seeking to improve health outcomes, save lives, but we also believe we can reduce significant costs in the healthcare system. Overall, pressure injuries have risen risen the cost to around 26 billion annually in health, hospital-acquired pressure injury expenses alone. Our initial market opportunity in the spinal cord injury population is around 220,000 or 187 million. And at any given time, a third of these people have pressure injury, which makes it a great target market. We also seek to serve populations that go beyond the spinal cord injury population, grow more market opportunity. When our clinical research partners started addressing this problem over a decade ago, with over 7 million in grant funding, the most common request from users and clinicians was a smart seated overlay to provide awareness for pressure injuries and seam distribution. Now, this is an advanced sensory prosthesis, an intelligent system to sense pressure, moisture, temperature, motion, and more. With a mobile app, clinician dashboard, the system will provide awareness, intelligent alerts to wheelchair users about their seating condition to minimize the risk of pressure injuries. Along with the core system, the SenseTech system of care also supports telehealth and education, education to clinicians, consumers, and caregivers. We also are in the early stages of developing a bed monitoring system. With our close clinical and academic roots, we know this is going to be the best product around. We have the most intelligent alerts, user compatibility, and strong clinical network to get this to market. Our company so far has succeeded in raising $525,000 in NIH grant funds in Launch, Minnesota. We plan to enter the market through the VA healthcare system. With our clinical research network, we're going to qualify, quantify, and evaluate CMS reimbursement through clinical trials as well. We have a growing team of talented and experienced engineers and clinical partners. I want to give a shout out to Tammy Voss-Draper, Chris Olney, and Missy Morrow, who have carried this for the last decade, and our supporters and contractors and accelerator programs. This fall, we're going to launch our seed round and get to market, and we want your help to help those who need it. So let's get out of our seats and move this forward.
So we have 4 minutes for Q&A.
So you are providing information to the patient and the healthcare providers. The assumption behind that is that there is something that can be done to change the patient's condition with that additional information.
Yeah.
What is it?
We're seeking a behavioral change. And so when I first broke my neck 12 years ago, they gave me a kitchen timer to wear around my neck. And I mean, nobody wears that after you leave the hospital. And really it's environmental and behavioral changes that need to be made to prevent these pressure injuries. Like I said earlier, you can't feel it, you're not aware of it. It's not really a problem until it is. And so, you know, not only are we seeking to prevent, but we're also seeking to minimize future people that have pressure injuries.
So what's the marketing process? Who are you selling this to directly? Is it the customer directly, or is it to suppliers? How are you looking at it?
It's kind of a mix. You know, obviously consumers drive demand, so direct end users. Clinicians are very interested, therapists, and durable medical equipment suppliers.
I also had just a technical question. Is it alarming? Is it providing an alarm to people based upon the AI algorithm? Is that what's
what
going on?
it is the mat that goes over your seat cushion, talks to your cell phone wirelessly, provides AI alerts. So, you know, it's not going to give you an alert every hour. It's going to give you an alert based on when you need it.
Yeah. Okay.
So you mentioned, you know, the bed-based pressure sensors. So I'm assuming there's some other like kind of related markets in terms of like long-term care or things like that. Do you have an idea of what the, you know, what those follow-on markets would be and what the sizes are?
are you talking about the bed market? So, you know, we've been primarily focused on the wheelchair market. So, you know, we can develop something that fits beds. We know that market size is huge. The competition is also large. But, you know, what we've done and what our clinical partners have done is really focused on a wheelchair system that has not been implemented.
Can you talk about your partners in terms of manufacturing?
Yeah, so right now, I mean, we're in the prototype development stage. So, you know, it's kind of a mix of do we develop in-house? You know, our initial year and 2 years is under around 2,000 units, 5,000 units. So it's something that we could potentially do in-house, or we could bring it to a manufacturer.
And do you have a cost of goods now?
We have a target, and so that's part of our development plan.
How is power provided to the system? Is it dependent upon the wheelchair, or is it, you know, built in? How is it powered?
So we want to make it compatible with any wheelchair, any seat cushion, you know, eventually any bed mattress and bed. You know, when we get to hospital bed monitoring, we'd want that plugged into the system to be compliant with hospitals.
Okay, we're at 4 minutes. Thank you, Rob. Next up is Joel Ackerman with Commune 02.
Good job. All right. Good afternoon. I'm Joel Ackerman, founder of Commune 02, which is based here in Eden Prairie. Let me try that again. There we go. Okay, we're addressing concurrently 3 intertwined problems. The first is organizations of all types, health and non-health, need better tools to engage with their constituents, much better than Zoom. Zoom's a good start, but there's more that can be done. We are also looking at the issues associated with siloed healthcare databases and trying to aggregate that data and combine it importantly with the information about the healthcare activities in the home and in the community. And the last is that we have a rapidly aging society. Organizations and communities are not adequately prepared for that. We're addressing this with 3 components. The first is a consumer super app that in one app addresses a lot of functionality and has a lot of consumer appeal. The second is an organization super app to give them the tools for remote engagement, unique tools. And the third is a unique community partnership program. I'll talk more about that. We've tested this in Michigan, and we've identified that older adults will embrace technology when it's compelling, affordable, safe and secure, easy, and supported. Our go-to-market model is we work with the leadership in a city to reach the organizations in the city, and through the organizations and with the organizations, reach the consumers across the community. So it's a community utility model that benefits everybody. Our primary revenue model is B2B. Organizations that participate in our program pay a small monthly fee to be included in this, but we have other sources of revenue too. And I'll talk about the total addressable market. It's phenomenally huge. Every city, every organization in those cities, every consumer across the country, internationally, are in our total addressable market. We've been testing this for 6 years in Michigan in multiple varied communities with older adults and organizations of all types, for-profit, nonprofit, and we've generated over $600,000 of revenue to date. And we are currently working on a pre-seed round of $1.4 million. Whoops, wrong direction. Let me try that again. We have a great team. My background is primarily health information technology, including United Health Group, where I was international CIO and created their first innovation lab. My team members, deep expertise in finance, marketing, social services, healthcare, IT, and as you can see, we've got a tremendous team of advisors helping us. Our financial projections, the future is bright. As a SaaS model, revenue and profitability look very promising. And I want to spend a little bit of time, but I may have to do it in the question and answer, talking about our retriever module. It's almost like Quicken for healthcare. It can get all my siloed data, bring it to me, and integrate it with my information from the home activities, the home sensors and other tools. And our other intellectual property fits in the categories of trade secrets, copyrights, and trademarks. Our ask is assistance with our fundraising. And additionally, we're looking with appropriate strategic partners that value the integration of healthcare data, activities of daily living, and social determinants of health, because we can bring that together for the benefit of the patient. Thank you.
Hi, well done. I'm curious, the ultimate goal of this application, is it for socialization to connect people? Is it for marketing purposes? What's the ultimate goal of putting this into play?
Yeah, for people, certainly for older adults, which is a primary focus for us, but not the exclusive one. Primary, older adults need to be socially engaged, connected, supported. The organizations in the community, if they had better tools to remotely engage with them, whether it's their faith organization, their attorney, their financial planner, their retail stores, city hall, giving them the tools to do that makes a lot of sense, okay? And having a compelling platform in the home that can access the devices in the home, as well as track their activities of daily living, their social engagement. We're bringing all that together. Now, if you take the data that can emerge from that, from a trusted system that the consumer is in control of and allows us to use that data, we can combine all that into an integrated data set that can then be used with data analytics, AI methods, ultimately to achieve better outcomes. So it's good for everybody across the community, all the organizations, all the people. It's a utility that benefits everyone.
Tell me about your competition.
I know it's always dangerous to say this. There is no direct competition, at least not yet. There will be. There are slice solutions. So for example, there are tablets for older adults that give them socialization and entertainment. There is certainly Zoom and similar kinds of systems that do video meetings. Nobody has pulled together the wide range of tools and technologies to really engage the community and really be able to do this. And as far as I know, nobody has pulled together the ability to take all that siloed healthcare data for me and bring it together and combine it with the other data from my home. So, currently we can go retrieve with our prototype my data from Fairview, from CVS, from a clinic running on Allscripts, various from Blue Cross, all that without having to work directly with the organization.
Let's talk about that data retrieval. So you got two different things. One is activities of daily living collection.
Yes.
And you've described use of that,
yeah,
feeding it into a system. The other is pulling data from an electronic health record, a pharmacy benefit manager, or whatever. In my experience, at least, Epic, Cerner, as well as individual companies that collect data like Medtronic for pacemakers or Abbott for continuous glucose monitors, are stingy as all get out at feeding their data to anybody else. The only way I know of you can do it usually is to scrape the data patient by patient, page by page.
So
how are you getting around that?
Yeah. So as a patient or consumer, I can have access to my data on those systems, right? Okay. If I can use a system that is working on my behalf with my permission, going out and getting my data from those systems, kind of like Quicken does for financial data, We can retrieve it for the patient, and on their behalf, again, we have to build trust for this, but on their behalf, it can be integrated. And so all my blood pressure readings from everywhere it's been taken could be combined into a time sequence, for example, simple example. And the importance of the consumer app is it gets us in the home, it gets them using a tool that on a daily basis they engage with, and it's single sign-on, single user interface, single password, and it provides a wide range of services that then we can, again, with their permission, with their opt-in, we can track that activity, and we can combine that. There's social engagement, their surfing of the web if they allow us to. All these things are indicators that when combined with the clinical data and AI or data analytics, we can project forward and we can say, oh, down the road, we'll be able to enable early interventions, caregiver information with the patient's permission, a very consumer-centric kind of model.
Okay, we're out of time. Thank you, Joel.
Thank you.
We've got Tristan Hazlitt from Hinckley Medical. Move forward. Yeah.
And I will say before I go, I am wearing green. No one run up here and pinch. What? Is this working? I guess I just need to talk kind of louder. All right, my name is Tristan Hazlitt. I'm the founder and CEO of Hinckley Medical, and we are eliminating pre-hospital dosing errors. So it takes three things to give an accurate pre-hospital dosage in an emergency setting. One, you need to know what drug to use. Two, you need to know how much of it to use. And three, you need to know how to give it. But what happens when you're missing one of those steps? What happens when you don't know how much of a drug to give? Well, that's something our paramedics and EMS professionals in this industry, EMS, experience every day. Let me give you an example. You're a paramedic, you're staring down at a 15-year-old boy, and you know you have to give this kid fentanyl. And your heart clenches up, your stomach tightens, because you know you're gonna have to guess this patient weight. And if you're wrong, this kid could get hurt. And that's the reality that they live with every day. So that is why we created the first ever, I repeat, the first ever patient scale for ambulance things. This goes on to every existing cot in the market. That way we don't have to compete with the big manufacturers out there. It's easy to use at the bathroom scale, requires no additional training, and it pairs seamlessly with our one-dose software. So this software will not only connect with the Bluetooth scale, connect with the scale over a Bluetooth connection, and calculate the amount of drugs you need to give, is also the most robust protocol solution on the market. That includes data collection, administration tracking, and allows your back-end professionals that are in charge of the EMS department to make educated decisions moving forward. So kind of like what he said before, I know this is maybe a naughty thing to say, but we invented this product. There's never been something out there like this, so we really don't have any competition. And we fully plan to take a chunk of the $15 billion market because we feel confident that this is going to be the case because of our intellectual property that we have on this product. We came to market 2022 of last year, and since then we've had some pretty good accolades. Last year in the Innovation World Conference, which is the biggest conference in the world, EMS conference that is, we won the award for most innovative products. On top of that, we're planning to do around $350,000 in sales this year with big customers such as ours truly, Hennepin Healthcare here in Minnesota. And before that, I've been working on this for about 4 years now. So we've had 2 years of just in-field trials trying to perfect this thing because we are working in conditions that are less than ideal. This is not a hospital with a bed. This is in the street, up an elevator, all those things. So that is why those field trials are impressive. Importantly to me and our team over here, we're not trying to build products though. We're trying to build a company, a foundation to continue innovating and fill these gaps in the industry, which we know there are some. We are 3 technical founders, and the way that we're able to innovate at such cheap rates is because we do everything in-house, from software engineering all the way up to final assembly. We did it, and we've done it. Brought a product, medical device product to market in less than $80,000. Backed by our chief medical officer, Dr. Abe Campos, who's an ER physician down in Nebraska, who's also oversees 3 departments down there. He's the one that points us in the direction of new innovations. And he's the one that also guides our clinical decisions. And the backbone of the company is truly our marketing department. They do a fantastic job in what seems to be an archaic industry. And there's really not enough time in the day to praise them. I will mention this. I know it's not normal at Venture Advisory Board, but they're more than just an advisory board to us. This is how we keep our finger on the pulse of the industry. You know, we talk to these people not just weekly, but sometimes every day. And they're the ones that tell us, we like this, we don't like this, we don't like this, we like this more. And that relationships is really important to building products that not only sound good on paper, but actually perform in the field. And as engineers, that's kind of what we value most. We are currently doing a safe round. We have $500,000. The terms are on the screen. This is really, we're running out of bandwidth. I mean, we're a team of 6, but we're getting sales in the door, and we need to grow our team, expand our outreach, capitalize on what we know that works, and really just scale our operations to offload some of this manufacturing. Thank you very much. Appreciate your time, and I hope you join us on this journey to eliminate free hospital dose matters.
So do you have to deal with any liability surrounding the auto dosing? Do you, where you are generating that dosage and is there a human in the loop? How do you avoid that?
Well, there is something similar to that on the market, which is called hands-heavy. And we're a clinical decision-making tool, which means we advise them what to do, but the end game is always a paramedic making the decision.
How are you reaching the market?
Well, that's
Now, what are
actually-
you selling now? But I mean, what's your market, go to market?
That's actually really interesting because this industry is kind of unique that it is a little bit old fashioned. I mean, we need Stryker. I mean, their biggest marketing strategy is going to trade shows, talking to people, building connections. And that took us about 1.5 years to figure out. And Mike over here really leads that, and he's been doing a fantastic job. And we honestly feel as though we have something like concrete enough where we know if that if we hire more salespeople, we could plug them into states and say, take these states, do what we've been doing, and we'll generate more sales.
Tell us what got you interested in doing this particular product.
I love this story. So my older brother's a paramedic, and he came home one day, and this was again like 4 years ago, and he started complaining to me about having no confidence. He's horrible at guessing people's weights. I'm like, you're what in the ambulance? You're guessing people's weights? He's like, yeah, we guess weights and we give medication based on that. I'm like, well, that seems to be a problem. So red light's going, got us on this track, and again, we plan to innovate more products in the future as well.
So how are you manufacturing these right now? And do you have a plan to kind of scale that process?
We have suppliers that develop all the stuff. We do our own manufacturing in-house, and to scale that process, we just need to hire people. I mean, it's very well defined. We're engineers, so we know how to do this, do it qualitatively. And like I said, there's more people.
Do you have the same group of people supporting the software as you do the hardware and the scale, or how do you intend to, are those two separate strategies? How do you keep them both going or market them together?
Very good question. There's a little bit of a juggling act. We wear a lot of caps in our account right now. Colton over here is in charge of the software, and he's really heading up the software side of things. Hardware side of things, we had a really robust like network of figuring out how we're going to do it.
One more quick question. So are there sort of fail safes for if there are issues with like, connectivity in the software, or like, do you have a way of like sort of manually reading out weights as well? So that,
We, I mean, the easiest solution is just gauge weights. That's what we suggest every department that uses our scale to do. Buy a 5 kilogram, 10 kilogram, 20 kilogram gauge weight. Every 3-4 months, put it on each one of the panels. If it reads within 3%, that's our accuracy, and you're good to go. We do also recommend a yearly calibration with the FDA.
but let's say like, you're in the ambulance and your iPad isn't connecting or something. Is there like a manual readout on the?
Oh yeah, sorry, I completely misunderstood your question. There is an LCD screen directly on it. That's a wired connection.
What's the capacity of the system?
700 pounds.
700 pounds.
It's the same as the stretcher itself.
And who are you actually directly selling to? You may have answered this, but obviously you figured this out, but who's your customer?
There's usually an operations manager at each one of these EMS departments. We reach out to them, talk to the quality team, and then tell them the benefits.
What other products are you looking to do next?
We are working on some intellectual property right now, so I don't really feel comfortable explaining it, but there is more gaps in the industry that we 100%.
Okay, thank you. Next up is Greg Sherwood with Voxy.
Good afternoon, I'm Greg Sherwood. I'm CTO at Boxy Health. We're here to look at breath analysis as a way to detect disease. And one of our first focuses is lung cancer. It's the number one killer of people in the United States and the world. It's a $50 billion cost to the US every year. And there's a low screening capacity or compliance to this. Medicare provides free screening to people at risk. Only 4% of those take advantage of that. So the key to addressing this is to get that detection early, and you can get 10 times better outcomes and 10 times lower cost. So our solution is an early disease detection via breath analysis. We can do it anytime, anywhere, non-invasively. So it involves 1 minute of breathing into our sensor technology. We produce a breath print. This is actually breath prints from our latest clinical trial on lung cancer. So you can see the healthy versus the disease. And then we use a machine learning to categorize those breath prints. So as we grow, we can do many different diseases based on the breath print library. So what are we sensing? It's volatile organic compounds. So these are small molecules that are produced by metabolism in your body. And there's probably 1,000 in everybody's breath. And that combination changes as you have a disease involved. So this bar chart right here is from literature based on lung cancer. And the green bars are the concentrations of VOCs that are in healthy people. But when you have a disease such as lung cancer involved, those concentrations change, as well as new concentrations of VOCs that get created. So what we've produced is a platform that doesn't just measure the new concentrations of materials, but it takes into account everything that should be there. And those changes are created in this pattern that we can detect as the presence of the disease. So we didn't actually invent or discover VOCs. They've been studied for decades. There's libraries of literature that tell us what VOCs are produced by what disease state. So we have a huge platform that we can analyze. This is one example of lung cancer. There's actually 4 different subtypes of lung cancer, and each one has a different pattern. So what we've designed is a sensor technology that takes into account all the different chemicals that get created, the VOCs that get created based on this metabolism. And in early research, we've been able to clearly separate small cell lung cancer from other lung cancers. In our current study, there's data showing that we might be able to actually subdivide all those cancers. We started this about 9 years ago at Boston Scientific. We started by proving that our technology can sense in the part per billion level, which is what these chemistries present themselves as. We've grown it into a system that is miniaturized into a 3x3 card right now. And this is a picture of our sensor. It's actually based on graphene, which is a single layer of carbon, very sensitive, and we've been able to manipulate it so that we can add chemical coatings to it. So we put 40 sensors on this chip. Each one has a different coating on it. So we sense basically 40 different families of chemistries in this technology. Our patent portfolio, we have 26 granted patents at this point. We have 30 more in process. They cover everything from the graphene structure to the chemical coatings to how we collect breath, how we measure it, and how we present it to the doctors. So we've done 3 clinical trials. 2 we've completed in lung cancer that shows significant separation between cancer and non-cancer. We did one in COVID as well. We just finished our 3rd study in lung cancer, and we developed a sensitivity and specificity of 94% and 92%. We have interest from medical and surgical oncologists, and there are several different health systems such as UC San Diego and the University of Minnesota that are interested in this, as well as international healthcare agencies. So the competitive advantage is that with liquid biopsy, they are expensive and they don't, okay, sorry. All right, and that's our talk. Any questions? I got cut off.
Well done. I'm curious when you put this into use. Is this something you use in some sort of preventive care that you would use on a patient and then you notice a change? Or is this something that you would engage a patient in because they have certain symptoms?
So we can use it in both. So we could use it in the initial detection of the disease, and we can use it also in follow-up. Many cancer patients have radiation CT scans that they have to follow every 3 months for several years after a cancer, and we can do that without radiation as well. So we can have applications in both places.
How sensitive is the measurement to like eating and drinking or other kinds of things that just could be sort of on your breath? And are there, I assume you have protocols for kind of using it that get around those sorts of confounders?
So it's a really good question. It's actually, all of our testing, we've always asked for people not to eat or drink for about an hour before. Most literature does that as well. So we haven't actually seen any complications with eating or any kind of dietary things. With smokers, literature supports also that if you ask them not to smoke for 2 hours, then the chemicals from smoking is pretty much cleared from the metabolism. So we haven't seen those kind of complications. So.
Do you expect this to come out at a price point that would be low enough that you would just start doing something like saying everybody over 70 gets screened?
Yeah, so that is actually the long-term goal. So we believe that we can get to that point if we, this is a semiconductor-based technology. So it definitely gets cheaper with volume. So we can ramp up to volumes. It would be something that you could do longitudinally. You could take a test every month or every 3 months, every year, just to build a longitudinal history of what you're getting.
Are there drawbacks to broad early detection of cancers? There's some prostate cancers that are very slow growing that if you detect it early, you may end up getting an unnecessary procedure, but there's a lot of debate about what is and isn't unnecessary. How do you balance that?
So I think that's the genetic problem that they have with early detection, is that genetics can shed, and there could be cancers that actually the body kills, that they can cause those kinds of complications. What we're looking at is an actual change in VOC concentrations that are created by that disease. So when we sense that, it is present.
Maybe I missed this, but are you envisioning this as sort of like point of care diagnostic or over the counter, or are there pathways for doing both?
So initially it would be in an oncology setting primarily, but as we gain more data in the machine learning in our library, we will move it into a point of care system where it could be done annually, as well as follow up on other things.
Clearly everything you've shown us is on lung cancer, or you mentioned COVID as well. Is this something where things would show up from other types of cancer elsewhere in the body that might be presented in the lungs?
Certainly, there's comorbidities that we think about, and the literature supports, as well as some of our own testing, is that the signals from different cancers are completely different. So you may run into a cancer of colon cancer while you're looking for lung cancer, but those are separable based on the machine learning capability.
But you think those would actually be detectable in the lungs?
Yes.
In breathing?
So there's many cancers that are detectable in the lungs. The process is that these chemistries don't want to dissolve in your body. So no matter where they're generated, they are put into the bloodstream and your body gets rid of them through the lungs. So many cancers are detected regardless of where they are in the body.
One more question. Do you think the sensors could be used to detect volatile organics in other contexts, like for instance, like on skin?
Yes, yeah, they can be used on skin. We haven't tested that yet, but there are emissions of VOCs from skin, also from other body fluids, saliva, urine, feces. So we can do that all in a container type of PET space analysis. It's not based on breath, but the highest concentration of VOCs from the body is through the breath.
Okay, we're at time. Thank you, judges. So the judges are going to now go deliberate with Kavar, taking a couple notes. And we get to take another break to network, meet new people, and come back here at 3:45 for the award ceremony. Hello, everyone. Oh, I just put it over there. Do you have the... oh. All right, it is awards time. We're going to start with the junior division. Do the judges have any overall comments about the juniors? Not right now. Yeah, I'm sure it was just really hard to judge.
I think they're all great ideas, and we can't wait to see where they go next. And we hope to hear more from them in the future.
And they're here afterwards to ask them any questions that you had of them. So, all right, drum roll please for the runner-up. Serge, Jacob, and Malink. Congratulations. All right, and for the winners, the winner of $4,000 of the junior anglers, Mommy's Solutions. The mid-level reelers, our runner-up is Osteo app. Where is he? There he is. All right, the winner of $6,000 of the mid-level reelers is Numeric. John, come on down.
Reminder. Okay, can I get a drum roll? The winner of the professional division of the 2023 Walleye Tank is Binkley Medical. Yeah, your whole team should come out. Oh, Hinckley Medical also gets into the quarterfinals of Minnesota Cup. So, Kaylin, who talked about Minnesota Cup earlier, will be in touch. There she is. There, now you know. All right. I believe the food is ready or is about ready outside. So please network while I go make sure that it's ready. And then we will start the happy hour reception party at 4 o'clock or so. Thank you so much for attending. It was a great turnout.
Thank you, everyone.